Hey, this is Jeff Jarrett, the king of the mountain and founder of Global Force Wrestling, and you're listening to WNS Podcast.
You're listening to the official Wrestling News Source Podcast. For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com or check us out on Facebook by searching WrestlingNewsSource.com or WNS Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Stitcher, and iTunes by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast or WNS Podcast. Now being broadcast in over 45 different countries, here are your hosts, Daniel Herron, Tyler Abear, and Doug.
That's right. What's up, everyone? I am Daniel Herron.
I'm Abear.
I'm Doug.
And we'll welcome you to episode 247 of the official podcast for WrestlingNewsSource.com. For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com. Check us out on Facebook, WrestlingNewsSource.com. You can find us on Facebook, WNS Podcast, on YouTube, WNS Video, and on iTunes, Wrestling News Source Podcast.
We're on Stitcher, Beyond Pod, and Player.fm. Just search Wrestling News Source Podcast to find us.
The podcast is on Twitter. It's at WNS Podcast. Daniel's at WNS_Daniel, and Tyler's at Tyler_Abear.
There you go. It's T-Republic, just search, or trepublic.com, just search the WNS Podcast.
There.
And we've got some shirts. You get to choose the color.
Yes.
Yes, nice.
Quite.
So welcome to the show. Got lots to talk about. Going to talk about some feedback. Going to talk about Raw. Give our Hell in a Cell predictions. Hot topics. Q&A. Much more.
Hot pockets.
Hot pockets. So how you guys doing?
Doing all right. A little sleepy.
Sleepy? Yeah, I know that feeling. Doug, how about you?
Yeah, I'm a little tired.
Tired? All right. We'll get this show underway so we can all go home and call it a night.
Oh, like really quick, I just want to I guess address my inconsistent appearances on the podcast. Not because I think anyone gives too much of a fuck if I'm here or not, but mostly just because I don't want to seem like a flake or anything like that. So for now, for the past few weeks, obviously, and for the foreseeable future, I'm sort of going to be in and out as the schedule permits. The shoot job is out of control, and so some weeks I will be here, some weeks I won't, and even some weeks when I will be here, I may have not seen much of anything to fucking talk about, but I'll just be here when I can until shit settles down. That's it. So that's why I'm sometimes here and sometimes not, and doesn't make too much of a fucking difference. I just
makes all the difference.
Feel better saying, "Hey, I'm not just a asshole who doesn't really care if he's here or not."
Well, we certainly are glad whenever you are here, Doug. It's just not the same. It's not the same whenever Tyler's not here. It's not the same when you're not here, and it's not happening at all whenever I'm not here. So check my ego at the door. So like I said, we've got lots to talk about this week. Let's dive into some feedback. First bit of feedback we have, and you have to excuse me if I'm coughing in your ears. I apologize. I'm battling allergies. First bit of feedback we have is from Parker, saying, "Hey guys, great show. Daniel, I mostly agreed with all that you had to say. I think NXT is better than Raw, but there are many issues with NXT. Now, I know there are issues with every show and promotion, and I could spend my time ripping them apart, but I'll focus on NXT. It was good back in 2014, and its highest peak was NXT Arrival. I love that show, and that's what drew me to NXT. However, I saw that NXT TakeOver after it, things changed. More promos and interviews, less wrestling, and poor booking. You see guys like Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa get buried. You see a non-tag team win the tag team tournament. I know it was paying tribute to a legend, but they missed serious opportunities here. And the always, if it happens once and works, then it must be good again. Raw is the worst wrestling show, in my opinion, with NXT at second. I feel it tricks people into thinking it's a great show by making it different from traditional Raw. NXT was fascinating at first because it was different, and if it was basically the wrestling quality of Ring of Honor with the guys from Raw, however, sometimes with an unforgiving crowd just like my anus. Wow. NXT was an indie Raw. It drew the indie crowd. However, it was something kid appropriate and PG. That's why everyone loved it, and there was something for everyone. It's a wrestling show, but now it's treated more like a product. I, however, have an itty-bitty smidgen of hope after spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Don't read until after you've seen NXT. Apollo Crews won a good battle royal. Thanks, guys. I know it was a lot. Great show again, and keep it up.
I couldn't possibly disagree more with those statements. The reason people like NXT so much is because they pay off what they build up. They build to a logical conclusion. They pay it off. I mean, Ring of Honor, honestly, to me, this booking leaves a lot more to be desired than NXT's booking. I think I think Ring of Honor has punished some of their recent re-signees by like jobbing them out and some like weird, like the Briscoes and Moose like re-sign, they go on fucking losing streaks. It's weird. I don't think they utilize the talent they have well. I think the Jay Lethal story is probably the like most logical and built thing that they've done. But I think if you're trying to say that Ring of Honor is a superior show, I mean, I can't agree with that at all. Now, you may, from as far as like a booking standpoint, if you're just trying, and even if you're just saying from a wrestling standpoint, I don't think that the Ring of Honor is a superior show. I think that what NXT does so well is tells a story that makes sense. They tell an old school story, and maybe you're not cool with like the old school way of doing things. How NXT will build two people is, well, I'm just picking names off the top of my head. I'm not picking like actual stories, but like if Samoa Joe and Finn Balor are gonna if the end goal is to have them wrestle at a takeover. First of all, before I even get into that, the throwback way of building wrestling is the weekly show builds to a payoff at the big event. And that's what NXT does, fucking period. Now, sometimes that means that the weekly show isn't like exciting because they can't afford to have guys trading wins back and forth like they do on Raw. So sometimes that means Finn Balor just beats a nobody because it keeps Finn Balor strong. And sometimes that means Samoa Joe just beats a nobody because it keeps Samoa Joe strong. Because both of those guys have to look strong going into that main event. And so maybe that's not always the most exciting TV because they just sort of squash a dude. And sometimes that means that Finn Balor might wrestle a competitive match with a guy like Tyler Breeze, for instance, but it's well established that Tyler Breeze is lower on the rung than Finn Balor. And even though they wrestle a competitive, and this is all hypothetical, I'm not actually calling things out, sometimes that means that Tyler Breeze wrestles a competitive match with Finn Balor, but he's obviously going to lose. And same thing with Joe. Joe may wrestle a competitive match with, what's Uha's name now? Apollo Crews. But because we haven't built Apollo to that level yet, he's not going to job. So it keeps both of these guys strong, and it's not exciting because the guys they're going to beat because they're clearly established as higher than those guys on the rung. And that's what's fucking wrong with Raw because you got two guys that are higher everybody, and everybody else is a fucking puddle of mud, like, no pun on the shitty band, like, intended. It's clearly defined that Finn Balor and Samoa Joe are the superior guys, and they're going to wrestle at the pay-per-view, and that's the fucking payoff. They're going to have a good match at the pay-per-view, and you're booking in that direction. So maybe you think that's, like, not exciting, and maybe that's why you think it's not a great show. NXT is sometimes a boring show because sometimes when you book logical wrestling, sometimes it's just a little flat. It's just how it is. It's the idea of the weekly show is to get people to the bigger show.
Yeah.
And that's how NXT does it. They do it like the old school way. They do it the throwback way. And man, I don't know what to tell you. I think everything NXT does, at the very least, makes fucking sense. And you can't say that for Ring of Honor or Raw. So I don't know. Not everything Ring of Honor does makes fucking sense to me. Delirious's booking leaves a lot to be desired, as well as Vince's booking leaves, questions coming out of everywhere. Like, you don't even know where that old man's head's at. But I cannot disagree more that that's an inferior show to Ring of Honor. I think the reason why NXT is so hot, the reason why NXT resonates with so many people is they fucking pay off what they build from.
Yeah.
It just makes sense, and like people are like, yes, that's logical. Yes, they built to that. It's a payoff. You get a payoff for your investment in time, and that's why people like it so much.
And it's simple.
Yeah.
Also, another thing I want to say, we were talking about Johnny Gargano and Ciampa.
Oh yeah, I got a point about that too.
Yeah, those guys are not like signed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not buried. Like Tyler said, like they're not contracted talent. You don't put they went above and beyond. They put uncontracted talent over their own contracted talent.
Yeah.
That's the opposite of being buried.
Yeah.
They won their first match in the tag team thing to get the Dusty Classic together, and then Gargano wrestled a competitive match against Apollo Crews, not a burial when you're wrestling competitive matches. Ciampa wrestled a competitive match with, was it Breeze? Was that the other match?
I don't remember.
They had like a tag match that they won their first one. They lost their second tag match, and then they both wrestled competitive singles matches with upper tier NXT guys.
Yeah.
Not a fucking burial, especially.
And then they were also both in the Battle Royal.
Sure. Not a fucking burial, especially when you're not under contract. Which word is Ciampa is now under contract, but he wasn't then. So
Nice.
not a fucking burial. If you see, like, if you want to look up in the definition of what a burial is Rusev losing to Ryback in 4 minutes because his fucking engagement got out on the internet. That's a fucking burial.
Yeah.
What is? Sorry, I know this goes into another topic. Is do you think Gargano is going to be under contract with?
Well, he had his Evolve match over the weekend. The stipulation was an I Quit match with Ethan Page, and if he lost, he was supposed to be done with WWE Live as a brand, and he actually won. So.
Oh, okay.
Which Ethan Page actually trolled the fuck out of everyone by coming out to Triple H's music, which like his actual music, like they just let him play his music, and everyone thought that like Triple H was there because of all this craziness with the Evolve NXT thing. So people thought Triple H was actually going to show up, but it was just Ethan Page being a big fucking heel.
I saw that promo when he was talking about Ethan Page, and then Ethan Page jumps him and stuff, and he's like, "Don't worry, Trips, William Regal, I'm about to send him to you."
I saw that. That was pretty funny. That was a good line too.
Yeah.
He has like a shirt out now that has like that old Triple H cross or something. This is like the ego, and then like I don't know. It's cool.
That's funny. Well, we certainly do appreciate the feedback, and thank you always
thanks
for
thanks for
listening.
listening,
thanks.
dude. I'm glad you like interact with our show. I just completely disagree.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
The next bit of feedback we have is from Moose. Moose.
My mouth was full. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Moose says, NXT TakeOver was so good because it was awesome. Didn't make me sleep. Didn't want me to take a piss break. The main event was so good. I was going insane about this match, even though I already knew who would win. Overall, I would give NXT a 4.8 out of 5 stars. On the other hand, Raw felt so boring that I felt it was a bedtime story instead of sports entertainment. And yet I still watch Raw every Monday, and I don't know why. The show was horrible. My mother can make this show better than McMahon. Overall, I would have given Raw a 1.5 out of 5 stars. If I were to change Raw, either make less or shorten segments during Raw and have an NXT match on Raw just as a preview for fans to what NXT is all about. Make new stars. Let Triple H run Raw.
Okay, here's the thing where... and it's also I had like a mental note list of like bones to pick up with you guys over. I listened to the podcast last week, and I was like, oh, these are points that if I had been there, I would have challenged them on, and I can't remember any of them now because I didn't write them down or anything.
Yes.
But one of them was reminded to me by, is this Moose we're talking about?
Yes.
You can't judge Raw versus a TakeOver because it would be like judging, like, you have to judge like Raw against the weekly NXT show, and you have to judge the TakeOver versus like Hell in Itself per se.
Pay-per-view, yeah, okay.
It's not the same thing. Obviously, the TakeOver is going to be fucking loaded because that's what they're building to. Like, that's the big payoff. You can't judge it against Raw.
But even the TakeOver compared to Night of Champions, which we were at, I would say TakeOver was vastly superior.
I don't disagree with you guys on the premise that NXT is a more enjoyable product, or you're more invested in NXT. Mm-hmm. Just like the comparison of, like, if you're going to compare, you got to compare the big events to the big events, which you're still fine to say that's a superior event to, like, whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's fair to judge it against Raw. You'd have to judge the NXT weekly show, which is, like Parker just said, it's not always stellar, but that's how it fucking goes when you got to run a weekly wrestling show and you're building. The other thing is, let's see let Triple H run Raw and book it. Now, everyone's high on this NXT shit, and they have right to be because it's good. It's worked so far. But what you also have to take into account when Triple H takes over, I guess but probably when Triple H takes over, he has to work under the same constraints that Vince does. NXT is an hour a week with a quarterly special. Now, Triple H doesn't have to pump out 3-hour NXTs every week and a fucking special at every fucking month. And if they did, it would not be as special feeling as it is now.
Right.
It's too much product. The product is overexposed. It's not as simple as, although Vince does need to go because he's old and senile and is not so much in touch, and I say that with all due respect to a guy who's transformed the business into what it is today, it's not as simple as Triple H and Ryan. Is it Ryan Ward that writes NXT with Triple H? I forget the guy's name. It's like Ryan something. But it's not as simple as those two dudes just kicking like Vince and Dunn out and being like, we fucking can run this shit right now.
Right.
Although it would be a step in the right direction. They would still have to answer to all the sponsors. They still have all the corporate, the legality, all the bullshit that comes with running Raw.
Shareholders and
all that would go right. It's still a fucking juggling act.
yeah.
Is Triple H seem to be a little bit more in touch and probably where we want to head? Yeah, probably, but it doesn't mean it's going to be a fucking slam dunk just because Vince is gone. It's still going to be hard. It's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's unfair to judge a product that feels so special because you don't have to see it it's not so overexposed.
Yeah. And like I said last week, they're locked in for 3-hour Raw for, a number of years. So
It's the contract.
it's even if Triple H were to take over today, there would not be enough major changes made in order to suffice for 3 hours. So they would have to at least wait until that particular contract is done, and then they would have to convince the USA Network to say, "Hey, let's pull an hour of programming off. I know we're your highest rated television show, but let's take an hour off, and so that way we'll get more viewers to focus in because it'll be less time and they'll have a higher attention span for it."
There's no guarantee that USA would ever go for that, or
they just be like, no, you're stuck at 3 hours. Deal with it.
It's weird.
So there's not much that they can do. For that, and it is being oversaturated.
We could start doing some things to move in the right direction, but it's not going to be just like flipping the switch. If Vince is out, somebody else is in, we're going to fix it. Shit.
Right.
It's going to be like incremental change to a better product.
Mm-hmm. So we'll have to see what the far future holds as far as that one goes. But next bit of feedback we have is from Subs, saying, great episode and also amazing impersonation of Johnny Ace. I was wondering if you could do a CM Punk impersonation and a John Cena impersonation. Thanks as always. I don't think I could do them, especially right now because my allergies are killing me, so I couldn't do too many voices. But Punk and Cena, I've never even attempted for that. And it's just, I don't think I could pull it off.
If he did Punk, everyone would feel like his jaded ex, and then they would give us a bunch of shit, and we can't handle that anymore.
Yeah, that too.
And if he did Cena, everyone would be like, yo, why don't you go away, get off my fucking TV, and then when he leaves, you're going to be like, just like that fucker, just went away to go do his song. So we can't handle any of that. So Vince, he can't do any of those voices because we can't handle any of that shit.
Or we get people on there like, let's go Cena. Cena sucks.
Let's go impersonations. Impersonations suck. That's what it will be. So
maybe when he's feeling better.
Yeah, although I don't have high hopes for a CM Punk or John Cena impersonation. I don't think I could pull those off.
Have you dicked around with it at all?
No, but just
how important is like a distinctive voice?
To me, I want to try and sound as close as I can.
So you have Johnny Ace, you have Booker T.
Booker's okay.
Yeah, he gave you what he gave you?
He gave me like two stars or something.
Yeah.
No, he gave you like 3, I think. I think he gave you 3 out of 5 or something.
Something like that.
You got like a solid B from him.
Yeah.
But it's his fucking voice, so he's maybe going to judge a little harder.
Yeah, that's true.
You got a Rollins.
Yeah. But it's just one of those, I have a lot of voices that I've done in my repertoire, and, I listen to people who do covers of songs where they'll sing the same song and do all that. But if they change the key or if they change the style in which the song is sung, I can't listen to it. It just bugs my ears so much. So I'm like, it sounds so terrible. And so like you hear people who do fan dubs where they'll take their favorite anime or cartoon or something like that, and they'll dub the voice in their type of voice. I'm like, it's not nearly close enough to it, so I'm like, I can't listen to it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, a little bit of a Stone Cold too, don't you?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's at least 5 we came up with off the dome.
Yeah. So
Stone Cold E.T.
Stone Cold E.T. Yeah. So
He's got like all kinds of shit that isn't even wrestling.
yeah, bunch of characters.
Shark Boy.
Shark Boy. Very similar to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank
He
you.
just holds his hand up like a fin and does Stone Cold.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Shell, yeah. So let's dive into Raw, the go-home show for Hell in a Cell, because this programming, that's what's going to sell you. I as soon as they kicked off Raw, I knew exactly the angle that they were going to be playing. They've seen a major dip in the ratings, and so you kick it off with Stone Cold Steve Austin, you're hoping that's going to get people talking.
Who do we have for this Raw? Stone Cold, Undertaker,
Brock Lesnar,
Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels.
Yep. You know, all those people I said last week that you cannot depend on for ratings, they decided to bring them all in.
Thing is, though, they front-loaded all those guys in like the first 45 minutes, and then if someone tuned in just for that, they were gone after the first hour.
Well, they did Austin, Undertaker, and Lesnar the first hour. They did HBK the second hour. They did Flair the third hour.
What was the third?
It was the top of the.
Right.
It was the beginning of the third hour, and the way it was
felt
so
like
done,
it was front-loaded. Though.
Yeah, the way that it was all done was so poor. It was so poorly managed. I am going to be shocked if the ratings went up a lot, because the way that it was all handled, it was ridiculous. You basically bring Stone Cold Steve Austin to say, hey, it's great to be back in Dallas. Here's The Undertaker. And that was basically it. And then you have The Undertaker cut his promo. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman come out and cut their promo. And then Lesnar looks like he's going to join Undertaker in the ring, but decides, no, I'm going to save it for Sunday. So anything to really take away from it?
No, it was really weird use of all the guys involved.
Yeah.
I don't know what you get out of Austin being there other than
Ratings. That's it.
I don't know. We'll revisit this next week and be like, and we'll know if they've got ratings out of it or not. But what do you get other than a commercial for the network saying, hey, make sure to check out the podcast later? And it's not like, at least Flair was there and HBK was there to try to give it like a little bit of rub to somebody else. It's not like Taker needed like the Austin rub to be over and over. So that was super weird. And it's almost like they sort of babyface Taker in a way. I get it. It's Texas, it's Dallas. He's fucking from Texas. He's a legend. People are going to cheer the guy. But it just seems like they tried, to me, it seems like they tried to change the story a little bit. Like almost like,
Call an audible there.
yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if they're trying to add intrigue to the finish of the match, or they thought that they were going to have to handle a crowd response and they tried to adjust to it. It just was very weird. I don't know.
Yeah. So very strange way, strange utilization of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And, you know, my guess is that they said, hey, next week we're going to have Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, and Ric Flair in order for people to tune in just for that. Yeah. Who did I say?
Triple H.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're going to have HBK and Ric Flair and Stone Cold Steve Austin, so that's going to get people to automatically tune in. I don't think it worked, but we'll see once the ratings come out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost playing devil's advocate with that. I don't think it will work either. I just don't think. I think the casual fans are gone, and the only people that are watching are the people that are going to watch no matter what the fuck you do.
Yeah.
And I don't care like who they parade out. I don't think it's going to fucking matter.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Yeah. It's all about the product that you see every single week.
Yeah, I mean, like, sure, he came out and people, like, don't get me wrong, the crowd, like, reacted, like, super well. He was, like, it felt like that crowd felt like a 1997 crowd. Like, you know how, I mean, we haven't seen shit, like, that hot since, like, Brian was super hot. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, that's the kind of reaction he gets, but he's going away. He's not coming back. He's not gonna work a fucking match. He said he's
Right.
not. He said he's done. It's been 15 years. If he's gonna fucking do it, he would done already.
Yeah.
So
Wow, it's been 15 years.
it's been longer now, not 20 years. Nah, not 20. It's been 15.
Like 2002, I want to say.
Coming up on 15 years.
Yeah.
Been a
Because it
while.
was WrestleMania 19 when he wrestled his last match.
Sure.
And then he had his appearances and general manager and all that and sheriff and all that. But
Yeah, I mean, but like, just to reiterate what you were about to say, or
the
were
13
saying-
years.
Well, I mean, what you were saying is the important part. Is like, an appearance isn't going to change anything. It's like you
No.
have to change how you're presenting the product.
Yeah. So, and you know, they made a big deal. Oh, it's the first time he's been on Raw in 4 years. And what do they have him do? They have him say his lines and introduce the Undertaker.
But realistically, what could he have done? Because he's not going to work a match. So
Yeah.
even if he stuns somebody, it's just like,
Come out and promote WWE 2K16.
Yep. I'm on the cover. So buy the game. Which I know Tyler's looking forward to.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it was a weird start. But the opening contest, the first of 3 6-man tag matches, which is weird to say in itself.
Say it again.
It was the first of 3 6-man tag matches. The New Day going up against the Dudley Boys and John Cena, which was odd because I thought, I figured they were going to have the John Cena U.S. Open Challenge, but it was not to be. And, it was the opening
Have
contest.
it one more time before he loses it. You think?
Yeah, why
Should
not?
have done that.
So, have him beat Heath Slater. So, New Day go up against Dudley Boys and John Cena. New Day get the win. Any thoughts on the matchup?
Jesus Christ, Devon must have been making up for Bubba's light as air. When Bubba does the little punches before he does the roll up into the bionic elbow,
Yeah.
I don't think he even fucking touched the guy. Did you see this? He whiffed so hard. I literally don't think he even touched him. I don't
Wow.
think he grazed him. And then it's almost like Devon came in and was like, I gotta fucking make up for that shit because it looked like he took Kofi's head off. I don't know if Kofi just took like the bump to make it look fucking good because you know they do that cartwheel bump off the lariat to make him like turn
Yeah.
inside out type thing. He did that, but it looked like
He caught him pretty flush.
he turned him inside out instead of the guy cut a flip to make it look like he turned him inside. I mean, like, he was just like, bam.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Big hit.
The right team won in the right fashion. They needed to go over, but not decisively. And I was fine with it. It's whatever.
And then after the matchup, John Cena delivers the attitude adjustment to Xavier Woods, and then the Dudley Boys put him through a table for the trouble. So,
They've been putting them through tables too often. That seems
Yep.
like a payoff
That's what I've
thing.
been saying for a while.
house
I felt like
shows,
it-
pay-per-views, now
House
on
shows
Raw.
are different because
and-
it's non-canonical, but
Well, I felt like I said this like a few weeks ago, and you're like, well, that's their thing, but I feel like this has been too much.
it is their thing. But the angle is built around them saving the tables and denying the table, so it's not typical in the way that they would just put people through the tables. Like the whole thing is the New Day is like, we're not getting through the tables, we're saving the tables.
Yeah.
So that should be the payoff when it happens.
But
Yeah.
It's
Xavier
not
gets
typical.
put through it too many times.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with you. It's they've done it too much.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have happened. It should be the payoff.
Exactly. So, anyways, the New Day were the victors that day. After that, we got to see a tag match play. So our second tag match. Nikki Bella teaming up with Alicia Fox to go up against Naomi and Sasha Banks. And Naomi taking the pin on this matchup. But what do you think
There's no
overall?
way Sasha was going to eat the pin.
Yeah, this was pretty good. Although, anyway, fucking Nikki fucking jacked her with that elbow. Did you see her?
Might have,
Well,
I
she
missed it.
powdered out. Sasha powdered out, and obviously she's not gonna eat the pin. But she hit her with the elbow. Or did she hit her off the apron with the elbow? I don't remember. I just remember Nikki throwing this like nasty looking.
Forearm.
Yeah, and I don't know, the stuff that like Wade Barrett's dreams are made of. Like he wish he could sling a bow like that hard. But I don't know. I thought it was a pretty fun little match. It just seems weird to have Sasha feel like a non-entity. It also feels weird that they're sort of babyfacing Sasha. It feels like
Sasha.
not the I can't talk today.
I've been doing the same thing too. I'll say Shasha and
no, I've been stuttering like
That's what you said last week.
yeah, Shasha, Shasha Banks.
It seems weird that there's sort of babyface in her. That seems like not the role for her. She like excels at being a heel, so I don't know why they would want to do that.
Yeah. So I mean that was the entire first hour. The Lesnar match, the 6-man tag, and then the Divas tag match. So to kick off the second hour, we got to see HBK come out.
Hold on, I gotta adjust this fan thing because I don't know what happened last week, but for months we've been freezing out of this motherfucker, and this week you're like,
I'm telling you,
turn that fan on.
This room, I don't know what it is with the AC, but it'll work tremendously, and then it won't work at all. So it's very strange.
I just had to adjust the change. I don't know.
I'm getting a little warm.
Yeah, I was like, get some air circulation going, and watch. In probably like 20 minutes, that's gonna kick back on, and we're gonna be freezing our asses off.
I just had to point it out because it's been so crazy.
Yep, you can never get just a nice room temperature. It's either one extreme or the other.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, we got to see HBK come out, talk about the Hell in a Cell, the importance of it. Took a bite out of a kid's pizza, and then Seth Rollins comes out and says, "Hey, your job was to introduce me, and you didn't do it. So get out of the ring, play my music." But I'm leaving too.
First off, I gotta ask you guys. You're sitting on the ramp.
Yeah.
HBK. First of all, let's just all be really fucking thankful he didn't say HB Shizzle because he doesn't.
Yeah.
I was thinking that.
He doesn't understand how that works.
Yeah.
You know, he thinks he's a little bit hipper than he is, and he doesn't understand how that works.
HB Shizzle.
But if HB Shizzle takes a bite of your pizza on the way to the ring, you eating the rest of that motherfucker, or are you just gonna be like tossing it?
I would eat the rest of it.
I know you would. I didn't fucking ask.
That goes without saying. I could eat some of it. I'd probably stay away from
Eat
the part
around
that.
it?
Yeah, I'd eat around it.
What
And I
about
know-
as your kid? It was that lady's kid or whatever.
I know.
He
and-
also got a sip of the soda from the same people on the way up.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I think I'd have to get another straw at least. Just not saying that he's dirty
You
or
got
anything
HB
like that.
Shizzle germs.
Yeah, I don't want HB Shizzle.
I think he got around back in the day.
Well, yeah, but he's sobered up and hopefully living a clean life, and I'm not saying he's tainted or anything, but it's just
But you're
common
saying he's
practice
tainted.
these days
Get
to
around.
stay clean and
Fuck in the ground. Don't stop. Get around.
look. I don't know that
Reference you
more
guys don't
references we're not getting. Yeah. So sorry, Doug, but I would at least hope that HBK would later on reimburse them for a pizza and a drink because that stuff is
bullshit. I
not
bet they didn't do
exactly
it.
cheap to get at those events. I mean that pizza was probably like $8, and the souvenir drink was probably another $6.50.
We need to find this out if they
He's
did
like,
or
here,
not.
kid, here's a Remington t-shirt.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn. I don't know.
Here's a DX glow stick.
Here's one of my hunting knives.
Yeah.
Here's I don't know, something from the hunting show.
Here's something from a hunting show. I'll put your name in the credits for one episode. So, yeah.
So-and-so, I ate their pizza.
Yeah. Owner of pizza. Anything to take away from this Rollins HBK segment?
It's a little odd. They did the. We want everyone to act like we're gonna eventually have a match that we're teasing. Although HBK is not gonna wrestle or whatever.
Yeah.
They did the. They like almost begged people to like react in that way, like one more match or hey, like act
Do
like we're gonna have a
something.
match that we're teasing.
Let's see some sweet chin music.
They did
or-
like the look. Come on, guys, please say something.
Yeah.
Look at it.
We're giving you an opportunity. Come on now.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I mean, they use HBK in the same way that they used Austin, which was just to go out and be like, "Hey guys, aren't you glad to see me?"
People who are tuning in for the top of the hour be like, "Oh, I wonder what's happening over here." And, oh, HBK. Wow. And the same thing happened in the third hour with Ric Flair.
Sure.
So,
They cut Flair a little short. It's almost like they were afraid to let him get it.
yeah,
Dude, he was goofy.
he was rather strange, but we'll talk about that in just a little bit.
Well, what?
Oh.
I don't be fronting on my man Flair.
Well, I
I
mean,
liked it, but he seemed off.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
Keep it in your mind.
Well, because I am not at all knowing. I'm not picking up what you guys are laying down at all.
Well, we'll get to it.
I was a little tired. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I just was dazed. I don't know, but
Maybe it was all the allergy meds I was on at the time. But Rollins had a match against Ryback, fairly quick matchup, where Rollins ended up getting the victory.
Yep.
So that's about it. After that, we got another 6-man tag match, Halaplaya, between Barrett, Rusev, Sheamus going up against Ziggler, Neville, and Cesaro. And what do you think about this matchup, Doug?
it was fine. I don't know anything stuck with me that I don't know if I have anything to say about it.
Yeah, I don't remember too much about it. But what about you, Tyler? Do you remember much about it?
I know it sounds bad. I was just I remember and I want it to end.
I think I thought my attention the whole time was like, what in the fuck? What are they gonna do to fuck with Rusev? And I was just like waiting for it. It didn't really happen. He didn't take the pinfall, and I don't think he got particularly punked or anything. But
they ended up getting the win.
Yeah, it was weird.
With Barrett getting the pin.
And at the end, they're all buddies, man.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. And what was up with Rusev holding on to Barrett's crown?
I don't know. It looked like he was about to take his crown.
He was trying to get him to put it on or whatever, and he was like, I don't want to fucking put it on, dude.
I just want to hold it. And no, put it on.
It looked like he was trying to take it or something. I don't know.
He was like, come on, put it on.
Come on, dude.
No,
put the crown on.
good. I'm going this way with it. So after that, we got to see Ric Flair come out. And we didn't even see him come out. They played his music, and he's already in the ring, which that was kind of odd. But whatever. Yeah, it was just the way that he was talking made it seem like maybe he had a couple. Maybe he was doing a little pregame partying, and I don't know. I thought he might have been just a little intoxicated.
Yeah, man. He's Ric fucking Flair.
I know. That's all I'm saying.
Is the bear shit in the woods? Is Ric Flair drunk? Yes.
That's
yes,
how
Ric
I
Flair's
felt.
drunk.
Well, that's
how we felt.
That's what we felt.
Yes, Ric Flair's drunk. What do you mean?
And
This is status quo shit.
yeah, hey, all right, yeah, okay. Just saying. But it seems
because he kept on. What was it before he came out? They saw him before he went to commercial. You could see like the commentators talking.
Something?
He was like, he goes, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, or it's with Shawn Michaels. Woo! And then he did the same thing. He came out and he goes, Ric Flair
in Dallas.
Woo! But no, I mean, I can't.
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it because I don't remember it being that bad.
He said another thing that was like the same thing. Did he say it with Roman Reigns too?
I thought it was just Nate being Nate, and then they're like, "Hey, go put over Roman." He's like, "All right."
But he was like,
all right.
But it was like, the Wyatt family is going up against Dean Ambrose, my boy, and the man, Roman Reigns. And then they immediately just cue his music.
Yeah.
Like he didn't say, ladies and gentlemen, here's Roman Reigns.
Right.
Or it was like he was in the middle of explaining something. He said Roman Reigns' name, and then they cued his music.
See, that's what I thought was weird. I was like, "Whoa, they cut Nate a little short tonight."
Yeah.
But I don't remember. I
just
gotta
a little,
revisit
That was
it.
crazy that he got out of the ring when the Wyatts came. He should have like stayed in there and like talked to the Wyatts.
I mean,
brother.
No, I told him, I was like, well, it'd be hilarious. I know they wouldn't do it. Like the lights go off, the Wyatts are in the ring. Braun has Ric Flair in that move. I know it wouldn't happen, but
nah. Flair would kick him in the nuts and then
Thumb to the eye and strut his way off.
yeah. I mean, of course. I mean, I remember woos. I remember his struts. I was like, yeah, that's what.
Look at
Nate
this baby.
does.
did you ever see that was it Jay Lethal and we watched it before Jay Lethal.
Several
Yeah,
times.
it was hysterical.
The pelvic thrust randomly. Hey you.
Well,
I could kiss
like-
any lady, even that fat one, and make her cry.
Make her cry. So, so like we said, Flair got a little cut off.
do you have a Ric Flair?
Huh?
You have a Ric Flair?
Not
I
really.
think you've tried it before.
Yeah, you just have to sound really nasally, and right now I don't think
You
I
got a
can pull off.
Dusty. You got a Dusty though. You can add that to the list.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that good though. I don't know if I'm.
And you have a Santino.
I don't know if it's worthy of saying it.
Big Dust.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
You also have
right.
Santino.
Santino, yeah, a little bit. So, yeah. So Roman Reigns comes down and gets interrupted by the Wyatt family, and he gets a couple chairs saying, "Hey, come on in. I just want to talk. Let's just talk."
Total dick move. He's like, "Hey, if you don't start none, won't be none." And then Wyatt was like, "Oh, okay." As soon as he gets in the ring, whack.
Yeah, I'm gonna start some.
We were like, when they showed up, we were like, "That's Eric Rowan." They're not saying nothing. They're not saying it's Eric Rowan.
They did say.
Well, when they did, it wasn't anything. It was like,
Well,
oh, there's Eric Rowan.
They didn't say, "Hey, that's Eric Rowan." They're like, Cole was like, "Hey guys, do you see who that is?" Like, and then eventually he said it was Eric Rowan.
But I didn't know what's going on with Luke Harper, and we're like, okay, are they gonna say something? This is what's going on. There's Eric Rowan.
Well, I thought Harper was gonna like come from the other side.
Yeah, that's what I was originally thinking.
And then when they made the 3-on-3 match, and I was like, it's still a handicap match. It's like,
And what's funny is like
Harper.
And what's funny is that earlier in the night, it was supposed to be Dean Ambrose versus Harper and Strowman. That was the advertised match. It was going to be like a handicap match or something like that.
Well, it was because they were playing off of the "Where is Orton" thing. They're like, we heard that the Wyatts got to him somewhere and he might be injured. And Ambrose was like, I don't give a fuck. I'll fight him.
Yeah.
I like that.
But then they pulled the audible and said, no, Harper's not in the match. Now it's Bray and Rowan.
The black and white sheep.
Yeah. The sheeps. The sheeple.
Sheeple?
Sheeple, that's right. Which set up to a match later on with HBK goading Seth Rollins into joining. HB Shizzle working his magic.
We can call him that, like mocking him. It's just he can't call himself that.
Yeah, he can't.
It's D Rizzle.
No,
it is not. So what were y'all's initial thoughts whenever y'all heard, Seth Rollins be like, "Yeah, sure, I'll join him. I'll prove myself to you guys and fight alongside these guys."
I mean, I wasn't like, "Oh, Shield reunion," but
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, they do that. This is like the second or third time they've done it, like every now and then.
Yeah, it's weird
it's all
because
right.
it seemed like a waste because it wasn't like.
Because they did it during the Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah, it was weird.
And the thoughts that was running through my head was, wow, maybe they're gonna be turning Rollins face soon. Because I was like, it'd be weird for him to be like, yeah, sure, I'll go in there and prove that I'm the best, instead of, no, dude, those guys are gonna tear me apart. They aren't gonna want to work with me.
Right.
It's like, man or not, those guys are not gonna want to work with me. So why on earth would I want to help them?
Yeah, well, they've sort of been building on the whole, like, Triple H has sort of been and Stephanie have sort of been goading into it all along, into it all along, where he's like, you said you're the fucking man, I'll go prove it. Like,
Yeah.
I am the man. That's true.
And then he's like, he frustratingly, like, agrees to it. Like,
Right.
yeah, I will fucking prove it, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I am the man.
I don't know why. I'm, like, shaking my hands in my head around. I don't know why.
You're getting into character.
Nah,
It's working.
I'm not a method actor.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't. That's not even what that means. I don't know why I said that.
Staying in character.
Yeah, I know what
He's
it means.
character.
That's why.
Jared Leto for Suicide Squad.
Is he a method actor?
Yeah, apparently. That's
Read
what.
something about Will Smith said. I've never met Jared Leto. I only met the Joker because he was the Joker the whole time.
Yeah, like he was in character the whole time they were shooting the film, which is pretty weird.
I think they said the actress who played Harley Quinn, she got freaked out by it or something like that.
I was so hoping what you're gonna say is, I never met Jared Leto. I only met Jordan Catalano.
Who?
My so-called life, you young little fucks. My so-called life, Jordan Catalano.
Okay,
You
sorry.
guys never seen My So-Called Life?
I've heard of it.
Little fucking
Nope.
whippersnapper.
I have not. I'm sorry.
Is that the one that also had Seth Rogen in it?
That's Freaks and Geeks, asshole. I don't know shit about shit.
I don't know shit. I think he's taunting you.
Just a little bit. So, yeah. So they had a nice little brawl, and after that, we got to see Charlotte, the Divas champion, go up against Brie Bella. Brie Mode. And this match was not good. I didn't enjoy it. I did not enjoy Brie Bella's work. Charlotte did not pick up the slack where it needed to be. I was even telling Tyler while we were watching it, I'm like, she's working Brie Bella's back and chest. She has not done anything to Brie Bella's legs to work for the submission. Now, whenever Brie was delivering her kicks and Charlotte caught her, I felt that would have been a great opportunity for her to do some sort of spin or something to injure Brie's leg so that whenever she applies the figure 8, it would make sense. But the entire matchup, none of that happened. There was absolutely zero focus on the leg. And how does Charlotte win? With the figure 8, attacking the leg. Again, makes no sense. So, I don't know. What were your thoughts, Doug? Guys?
I dozed off. I've been working a lot of hours.
Oh, okay.
I may have dozed off.
Hey, that's fine. It was an okay one to doze off to.
Yeah, I woke up to Owens doing the pop-up powerball, and Marcus like, what the fuck?
Hey, that's actually pretty good to wake up to.
What in the fuck?
Okay, so we're gonna skip that match.
Well, Charlotte defeats Brie Bella.
Okay, we skip that. So we'll get to Kevin Owens and
Mark Henry.
I told him, I was like, yeah, he's not gonna pop up powerbomb. I was like, no.
What
What is
did
he
I
gonna do
say?
to finish him?
What did
What's
I
he gonna do
say?
to finish him? He's not gonna do it. And he did it. I was like, holy shit.
I was like groggy. I was just like, what's going on? I was like, whoa, what the fuck?
This is pretty much
You were
Mark
dreaming.
Henry.
It never happened.
Mark Henry was beating him up the whole match, and then at the end, Kevin Owens did the
Wayne's
pop-up
World. You don't
powerbomb.
get the reference?
I
God.
get the fucking reference.
Then I told him, I was like, hey,
You fucking
let's see.
dickhead.
Let's see him do the pop-up powerbomb to Big Show.
Yeah. That'll be next. He's the only one left. So, yeah. Anyways, after that, so
Bring back Khali. Let's see what.
Oh, that would hurt him.
no, you have to use that cement, that special cement
Oh, yeah.
that only works. Otherwise, he's going through that mat.
Oh, God, yeah, that's special cement. That was a funny video.
But Kevin Owens does end up defeating Mark Henry
I still can't believe that happened.
with the
Not
pop-up
the win, but I
powerbomb.
mean the pop-up powerbomb.
Yeah, and credit for Henry to be able to
Yeah.
get the air
You know,
like that. Get his legs up and over like that. That was pretty impressive. So that takes us into the main event, which was the Wyatt family versus the Not Shield reunion, the team of Ambrose, Reigns, and Rollins.
Get back. I'm going to start this match. I'm going to start.
Yeah, Rollins wanted to start the match until he saw who he was going up against. And
You
he
get
said,
in the
all
ring."
right, well, you do the work.
Well, he did start the match, so.
He did. Yes, he did. So, any thoughts on this matchup? Rollins leaves with a knee injury or some sort. I actually missed that part.
He just jumped down and acted like his knee was hurt.
Uh,
But his knee was really hurt. He needed to get away from the match.
yeah, he's got a championship match to focus on at Hell in a Cell. So, yeah. But the Wyatt family does end up getting the victory via disqualification after Ambrose says, screw this. I'm getting a kendo stick and I'm taking out Strowman for good. It does not work. Strowman breaks the kendo stick. And my God, how simplistic is Strowman's offense?
Yeah, that's sort of the point, though.
Yeah.
First of all, he's super green, and second of all, it's about his size and strength. He's just trying to emphasize that.
Yeah. It's like they're literally just bouncing into him so that they can bounce off of him.
Yeah.
Oh God. So it's pretty entertaining, I'm not gonna lie.
He does a decent job of working to his size.
Yeah.
Which is important.
He's a
I mean,
big guy,
that's why he's
so
there.
yep. So that's gonna do it for Raw, the go home show. And with that being said, we got to hear those picks. We got to hear those picks.
We got to hear those picks.
So Hell in a Cell taking place this Sunday on the WWE Network. If you don't have the network by now, why not? Because it's going to be, well, I don't know. To be honest, I don't have high expectations for this pay-per-view. A lot of the matches feel like they're thrown together. I feel like a lot of the matches aren't properly built for a pay-per-view, even though it's technically just a special event nowadays.
Yeah, I think the one thing I'm wondering, and I'm not trying to skip ahead, I'm just going to throw it out there, is the John Cena who's his opponent.
Yeah, it's going to lead a lot of people to question as to who it will be, who's going to answer the call. So I guess we'll kick things off with the kickoff match, 6-man tag match, Holla Playa.
It's what we saw on this past Raw.
Yeah, we saw it on Raw, and I guess they did so well, we're going to see it again. So it's going to be the team of Cesaro, Neville, and Dolph Ziggler going up against King Barrett, Sheamus, and Rusev.
Which that could mean, well, so wouldn't that put Dolph Ziggler and Cesaro out of the picture for United States?
You would think.
Could be. I don't know.
Yeah. So I know this past week on Raw, Barrett, Sheamus, and Rusev got the win. And as WWE format tends to go, the opposite team will pick up the win the next time around.
Maybe not.
Yeah, you never know. So I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts on this?
Well, this is sort of an amalgamation of all these guys who've been feuding for months on end now with each other, all in the same match together. Guess I'm gonna go with the babyface team. I'm gonna say Rusev eats the pinfall after like the babyfaces hit every move they've got on Rusev, and he just looks like a big dummy because
Super kick into the neutralizer, followed by the red arrow for the 1-2-3.
Yeah, I just think they're gonna continue like burying Rusev, and then I think Rusev eats the pin, and they're just gonna make him look like a big dummy because
because he followed his heart and proposed to the woman he loves.
Because he let it get out what everyone already knew all along.
Yeah,
and it's somehow affected people's view of the storyline.
Yeah, so much for an anti-bullying campaign.
It's just so weird.
It's so funny. Like, I bet that happens, and like Barrett's like, at least I'm not eating the pin.
Yeah.
Well, like you could view it in some weird way as just Rusev having to team with Barrett as like bury him in itself.
And Barrett got the win on Raw this past week. So,
you're gonna get the win, man. I know you usually don't get the win, but you're getting the win.
So Doug going with Cesaro, Neville, and Ziggler. Tyler, how about yourself?
I'm gonna go with the same thing, but like I see that point and I want to say it, but in my heart, like in the head, my head says that. My heart was says, let Barrett eat the pin.
Yeah.
But no, I'm gonna go with the same thing he said. So.
All right, so it's gonna be a clean sweep. All three of us picking the face team: Cesaro, Neville, and Ziggler to defeat Barrett, Sheamus, and Rusev. Poor Rusev. He's being punished for loving somebody.
Poor Ruru.
I know, poor Ruru indeed. So Tyler, we'll let you pick the next matchup. What are we gonna talk about up next?
Kevin Owens versus Ryback.
You mean Kevin Owens?
Kevin Owens.
So Kevin Owens versus Ryback, Intercontinental title on the line. What are you thinking about this?
I'm just wanting this to be over. I want Kevin Owens to win. Owen. Dang it, now I got that in my head. Kevin Owens to win, get past Ryback, see what's going on in the future.
Yeah. Any thoughts for future opponents?
I mean, this is, well, in my head, Sami Zayn to come back and they bring him to the roster maybe, and like him and Owens have a thing on Raw or something.
Huh. I think he's still got like several months with
okay.
Yeah, I think he's out until at least 2016, which is sad.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to say. I know they did good, Cesaro and Kevin Owens, but I want to see someone else. Maybe do the Mark Henry and Kevin Owens thing.
Yeah. Mark Henry?
Yeah.
All right. Doug, how about you? Kevin Owens versus Ryback, Intercontinental title on the line.
Well, I think Owens is going to retain. I think there is a way that you could look at it and say, well, is Ryback a guy they're going to call on to sort of step up in this time of need where their babyface side of the roster looks extremely light with Cena being out, with who knows what's going on with Orton, so supposedly maybe hurt. You got Cena and Orton out, and this company has conditioned you that no one's as important as those two guys other than a handful of other guys like your Takers and your Brocks and your whoever's since
Kane.
Yeah, apparently Kane.
It's time to clear Daniel Bryan.
So it's like, who are they going to look at to step up and fill these like major babyface roles? Are they going to look at a guy like Ryback? And then even if they do,
I think rumor is that they're going to be pushing Ambrose to that top spot.
See, Ambrose is a guy I'm looking at to accept the open challenge. I think, not to hop ahead, but I think Ambrose is going to take the belt off Cena. So I don't know. Even if you're looking at it from the perspective of, is Ryback a guy they're going to ask to answer the call of, can you be a higher tier babyface? Does that mean he is your IC champ, or does that mean you get him away from that picture and sort of make him seem bigger?
Yeah.
It's weird. I think. I mean, I'm just sort of like, for the sake of argument, talking about this. I see like Owens retaining. I don't think they're going to
Right.
pay hot potato with the belt, and not in this case. But I don't know. Do you see Ryback as a guy that can call on in this time of need?
Not really.
He's
To
somewhat
be
over,
honest,
to be honest.
he is.
Yeah,
Yeah, he is incredibly over with the crowd. The crowd gets hot for him.
I don't know if I'd say incredibly. He's somewhat over though.
Oh yeah, I mean
Depending on
they're
where you
chanting
go.
"Feed me more,"
Right.
quite loudly. But it's just one of those things where it's like I don't know. I can't see it really. I maybe it's just personal preference. I'd rather see a guy like Ambrose. I'd rather see a guy like Cesaro take that spot. But I mean, we all know the fascination with the larger guys being Vince's preference. So why not Ryback? He's he was thrust into the main event title way too early, and they took him back down, and maybe this could be a chance for him to ease back into it while Cena's out. So
I don't think he's going to be the man or anything, but I don't know if they're going to ask him to help carry some of the load.
yeah, and it's going to be a tough void to fill, especially with Cena out and Orton out.
That's crazy.
And that's
It's sad. It's like the top two. Like, now what are you going to do? And
yeah, and that's something that we've talked about for years now, where it's like, okay,
Eventually, there is going to be a day when these two guys aren't here. What are you going to do?
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
It's now.
It's like, all right, you take Cena out, you take Orton out. Who are you stuck with? Who's your next guy? And it's like, oh, you don't have anyone.
Like
oh,
I said, like,
fantastic.
what's the deal on Daniel Bryan? Can we clear him now?
Yeah, is it time to bring him back? I feel like it's time we could bring him back now. So I'm going to pick Kevin Owens to retain as well. I don't know where Ryback's going to go after that. I'm not sure who they're going to have feud against Kevin Owens with the IC title on the line. How about you, Doug? Is there anyone you can come up with off the top of your head who might be a good feud for Owens?
No one with any momentum that I could see. I could see them maybe like pushing Neville over to his direction or something like that.
Yeah.
Anybody with any real clout, I think they're gonna have to seriously ask to help carry the load. So I think that leaves out your Rybacks. I think that leaves out your Zigglers. I think that leaves out your Ambroses. Obviously, Reigns isn't going down there. I think anybody with any like smidgen, anybody who you thought was eventually going to be a big deal, or you thought could, and they started to make them a big deal and then cut their knees out. I think we're going to see them saying, "Hey guys, please help carry some of this load." While we know we stop-started your push 100 times, but please help us.
Now's your
out.
time to shine.
Right.
Show us what you got. So, so all three of us picking
Push him out there.
Kevin Owens
Do your
to
thing.
retain. Next matchup we're going to talk about. Doug, we'll let you pick it. What would you like to discuss? There's the Open Challenge, there's the tag titles, the Divas title, the Heavyweight Championship, and there's 2 Hell in a Cell matches. So, of those matches, which do you have a preference to talk about?
Let's go with the tag titles.
Tag titles. So
That's the one I can read from here.
So the Dudley Boys going up against the New Day. So good stuff. What do you think about this storyline? Do you think the titles are switching here?
It's weird. I was pretty sure that this had to end with New Day losing the belts to the Dudleys. But now I question if that's like a necessity, if it's going to happen at all. I'm not sure. If they were going to lose them, you think they would lose them here and then win them back at TLC? Because for some reason, I can't see them continuing the feud all the way to TLC without a switch.
Right.
TLC is the next one after
December.
this?
You got Survivor Series in between that.
Right. And then, so I kind of feel like if they're going to switch them, they're going to switch them here. And then New Day wins them. My problem is I don't see what else you can do with the New Day right now. They're hot, but they're in that weird position where they're over, but they're not
Supposed to be.
Well, it's not. I think they're expected to be over because they keep getting put in a position to sort of excel, but I don't think they've said, hey, these guys are clearly top tier guys yet.
Right.
So,
have you seen the picture of their new shirt?
yeah, I think that's weird. I don't like.
It's so strange.
The shirt came out before they did the unicorn thing in the promo. I mean, so I wonder why. If they're just like, we just like the design, so we're gonna have to find a way to work that into our promo to where it makes sense.
It's something goofy. It doesn't surprise me just because.
Yeah, it's a very strange.
Just because
picture.
I don't not like it. I just like why the unicorn.
It's a unicorn wearing sunglasses who's apparently blind.
Here's the thing.
He's
really
got a Chuck Taylor shoe on and a fish fin instead of a tail.
Here's the thing. I've seen
a mohawk.
Different things like when they that video you sent me where they like for 17 or 18 minutes just do random stuff and they're hot. So I kind of feel like, hey, y'all can do whatever y'all want. Because I've seen them do like random stuff. Stuff is funny, but some of them like I don't understand what's going on here. So that explains it. So yeah,
they're just doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Hey, look, don't get it twisted. I'm happy that the WWE is moving away from like affliction style T-shirts. So like I'm cool with this. I just
would you buy that shirt?
I don't think so. But just because I have a problem with like not knowing why things are on shirts. Like I hate whenever like I see like a logo that I like and then they have some like dumb saying on the back that I don't like. And I was like, yeah, I could rock that shirt if you just didn't have the back part. Like, can you just sell me the front? Like maybe. And like I think the design is fine, but I just don't know why they're writing a unicorn. Which I assume they're not is actually not a point to that.
Yeah.
They just work that into the promo because it's on their shirt. But
fun story. I know we're getting off topic here. We're supposed to be, giving our predictions, but very first wrestling shirt that I ever got was an NWO Wolfpack shirt. I'd convinced
the one with the wolf on it.
No, it was just the red
logo.
The red original logo, but there was something on the back, and I got it for like Christmas or a birthday or something like that. My parents had got it for me as a Christmas gift. I want to say Christmas. And I was so excited when I saw it until I turned it around and there was something on the back. I was like, no, I just wanted just a basic plain.
What did it say?
Oh, I don't even remember. I wish I could.
You were devastated.
I wasn't devastated, but like I was in the same boat as you, where it's like just take off the wording on the back, just sell me the red NWO logo, and I'll be fine.
Right,
I'm totally fine with that. So, but it was not to be. So.
Right.
I didn't wear it too often. But so New Day versus Dudley Boys.
I'm going to say the Dudleys take it here, and I'm going to say New Day wins it back at TLC.
Interesting. In a tables match?
In a tables match.
All right. Or will it be a TLC match? Because that's the Dudley Boys specialty as well.
One or the other.
Yeah.
I'm going to say tables because they don't actually have to pin them. They'll just have to put them through a table. So
right.
I'll say tables.
Okay. How about you, Tyler?
I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, I want, I'm thinking about Dudley's winning it. Then eventually, let's say, like you said, TLC, they win it back. But I think they'll have the belts for Mania. Not Dudley's, but like New Day will have the belts.
Come Mania time?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If the Dudleys don't win the belts, like, why are they back? What are the Dudleys going to do if they don't take the belts? And then if New Day beats them again, Dudleys don't really have a claim to the titles. And then where does New Day go from here? If they don't switch the belts, it seems like
that's the end of it.
That can prolong this feud, and I don't see what either team does without like continuing on with each other for a little while.
Yeah,
no one else is really positioned to.
Yeah, speaking of, where's primetime players been? Where have well, I would say Los Matadores, but they kind of fell off. They're getting repackaged again, right?
That's what I heard.
Something like that. I mean, you could even throw in the Lucha Dragons.
I don't want to say for sure because
it's rumored.
Yeah, the day job has been crazy, so I haven't been watching a lot of the B and the C shows. So I don't know.
Yeah,
they could be somewhere that I just haven't seen.
I don't know. I feel like New Day is too hot for them to lose any momentum, including losing the titles. But I can also see continuing the feud to keep it going. So I don't know
if a loss necessarily means losing momentum.
But I feel like they just gained the titles back not too long ago.
Sure, but they're not really a team that's built on like physically dominating. They're more built on they're more a team that's sort of built on like getting
a cheap
by,
win.
getting by.
Yeah.
If they win, what do they do and what do the Dudleys do?
Well, the Dudleys will continue to feud with whoever. I feel like the Dudleys were brought in to sort of get over the new tag teams. Like this is an established and credited
But they only
tag
been
team.
feuding with New Day.
Yeah.
I mean, they have interactions with other tag teams, but
Yeah, but they're like no other tag teams on the show.
That's true as well. You
That's
got
totally-
the Ascension that they could beat in 3 seconds. So I don't know. I mean, they might just drop down to sort of just a main attraction. Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna go with Dudley Boys because I can't see any other option for them.
I'm not trying to twist your arm. I'm playing devil's advocate.
My heart is saying New Day, but my head is gonna go with the Dudley Boys. So all three of us picking Dudley Boys to win on that one. Let's talk about the Divas. The Divas Championship. Charlotte going up against Nikki Bella. Gotta say, I'm not too interested in this feud.
I feel like Charlotte's going to beat Nikki and get that over with, and here comes the next challenger.
Yep.
Don't worry, guys. Nikki's going to carry her to a good match.
Yeah. Charlotte's match in Raw wasn't the best, although she didn't have a very good opponent either. But yeah, Nikki Bella, I think...
Few people leaving negative feedback.
Yeah. Forget these guys.
Hey, man, that Brie mode, man, that was there.
No.
Brie mode means nothing happened.
Exactly. Nothing does ever happen. So I'm going to pick Charlotte to retain here. How about you, Tyler?
Same.
All right, Doug?
Charlotte to retain, and I think then we're off to Charlotte Page, right?
I think that's what we're looking at, more than likely. So
You think she gets involved in the ending somehow? Like
Probably.
tries to manipulate.
she's going to come on, Charlotte, you can do it. And then once Charlotte manages to get the win, she attacks her and says, "This is my house," and holds the title.
What's the deal with isn't like Paige she was actually fighting what's her name? Natalia, but she got taken out backstage but what's the status on that?
We don't know.
Oh my gosh.
All kind of craziness, but yeah, we'll have to see. Next matchup we're going to talk about. Tyler, we'll let you pick one. There's 2 Hell in a Cell matches. There's
Tyler pick.
Okay, Doug, you pick. There's 2. Okay, Tyler, you pick. There's 2 Hell in a Cell matches. There's the WWE
John Cena
title
versus mystery opponent.
All right, the John Cena U.S. Open Challenge. So not a lot is known about Mr. Cena's opponent at the time.
Do we know a time period when he's leaving? Like, when is he leaving?
I think he's done after the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think that's what they're leaning. So more than likely, they're going to have him lose in some form or fashion, which is odd to me because if he's going to be taking time off, you would figure they'd keep him to have the rematch. But
I guess he'll have a rematch whenever he comes back. Whoever wins the title.
Maybe he gets beat so badly that they air quote injure him, and he's forced to take some time off.
I don't know. I don't know. I see his point about having, I guess, like a face or someone that's always going to defend the title, do the thing on like Raw. But like,
right?
I know they have. They don't know when, but people say Tyler Breeze is coming up onto the main roster.
Yeah.
I don't know when that's going to be, but I'd throw in Tyler Breeze.
Really? So Tyler Breeze, and you think he's going to defeat John Cena?
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Don't see it. Don't see that.
All right.
That's my heart. That's my heart.
Well, no, I mean it's a fine guess in the sense that you're like trying to think of a surprise opponent.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy who's rumored to make his debut. I just don't see him debuting in the same fashion as like an Owens or a Sami Zayn. I don't think he's the star that those guys are.
Yeah.
And I don't think everyone's going to get like that sort of like intro to the main roster. I don't see him. He's a guy who can't win the big win on NXT, so I don't see him being the guy who puts Cena out. I think there's 2 ways to look at it. If they're going to do the angle to where Cena's out because he's injured, maybe you'd look at someone like a Braun Strowman because that pre-show match got dismantled, and if you're going to want Cena put out on the shelf like kayfabe wise, then you're going to look at a heel to injure him, And if you're looking at that, Strowman seems to be a guy they're high on and a guy they're looking to do that with. Now, I don't know if I could see Strowman carrying the belt. I think he makes sense as far as putting Cena out, but I don't think he makes sense as far as a guy you're expecting to have like title defenses on TV every week.
Right.
And I think another way to look at it is if you're losing a top babyface, you need a top babyface, at least in theory, to replace him. So that's why I lean towards like an Ambrose. I think people keep looking at this challenge expecting, because a few of them have been surprises, expecting that everyone's going to be like it's got to be Daniel Bryan, it's got to be Breeze, I think it's just going to be
it's got to be Heath Slater.
Yeah,
that's got to be Kane.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Ambrose. I think Ambrose is going to win.
Had to be done. Sorry.
Maybe they just don't address why Cena's there. Maybe he just takes the time off quietly and they don't draw attention to it.
Right.
So I lean to where they need someone who is popular enough to sort of put a dent in the hole that Cena's going to leave. So I'm leaning to Ambrose.
See, I can't even think of anyone who can beat Cena for the title. So I feel like it's going to have to be someone who's going to like take him out, get the disqualification or something of that nature, and Cena's just going to be like, oh, got to take some time off.
It's going to be
If
Big
you're
Show.
looking for like the big weird like surprise, there was all that rumor that like Del Rio is back in talks with returning. So I guess that's sort of like swimming around out there. I don't see it though.
Yeah, because I would feel like he'd have to fulfill the rest of his dates or whatever that he has coming up, even though
he's not. I think he's done with the Lucha Underground, and I don't know what the status of his contract with AAA is. So.
Who knows?
It's Big Show.
No, it's
sort of weird
because
because AAA made all those huge power plays with acquiring Miss Disease off of his Sin Cara run. They made a play and got Del Rio. They made a play and got Ray, and now and that was like these guys are going to make some major moves in like American markets with Lucha Underground and with 3 top like Latin American stars with those guys. And those, if you were going to pick 3 guys to do it, those were the 3 guys to do it. It's weird that they're already losing 2 of those 3 guys. I mean, Ray's still a huge star, don't get me wrong, but it's weird. Miss Disease back to CMLL, and now Del Rio's maybe in talks for returning to WWE since they fired the guy who he got fired for like roughing up or whatever. So
good.
Who knows? No, I'm not saying that.
I mean, it's never easy for someone to lose their job,
Sure.
but you know.
No, I'm not defending that guy. I'm just saying like that is not a situation anymore because that guy's not employed there anymore.
Right.
And any heat they would have got as a company over Del Rio putting his hands on someone else is probably blown over by now. They could bring him back if they were going to. It's just weird. I don't know. I don't know who you'd go with besides like an Ambrose.
That's one of the things that I kind of like about the open challenge is it's the not knowing aspect of it.
Play my music, baby.
Yeah, it's gonna be Heath Slater, and he's finally gonna get his match, and he's gonna get the win.
See, I think people always end up feeling let down because they set their expectations so high. I think it's just gonna be a dude on the roster.
Yeah, it's gonna be someone, and that's all we know. But
R-Truth.
But do you think? Yeah, R-Truth. Do you think that Cena's gonna drop the title?
I think he has to.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to agree. I'm going to say whoever he faces, for some reason or another, John Cena does not walk out of Hell in a Cell victorious.
At least hazard a guess. Me and Tyler are throwing names out there. You got to throw somebody out there.
Man, I don't even know where to begin.
Throw it. Do it. Throw it out.
There's too many. I like the idea of Braun Strowman. I like the idea of Ambrose, but Ambrose is going to be working earlier that night, so I don't think it would be very believable for someone to have already had a match earlier that night and then go in and beat John Cena cleanly.
Oh my gosh!
So
Kevin Owens beats Ryback, and then he beats John Cena.
What about standby mystery guest of all time, Chris Jericho, like sliding right back into the?
No, I can't see that either. And I think he even announced that he's kind of done for a little bit. Like he went and did the little tours.
Well, he was just on the Mexico tour this past week.
Yeah, and then he tweeted out, he was like, "Okay, I'll see y'all later."
What he is he's a smart guy. He is like, I'm staying off TV so I can be over with this crappy booking. Like, I don't want to mess with that. I'll stay over on the house show.
Mm-hmm. I'll make everyone happy to see me.
Yeah,
and then I'll just leave. It'll be a returning Rob Van Dam. Oh my gosh, he's gonna beat John Cena just like he did at ECW One Night Stand all those years ago.
So we've all got like mystery opponent, right?
Yeah, it's all mystery opponent. I don't know who's going to be, but yeah, we're all picking mystery opponent to defeat John Cena one way or another. So let's do one of the Hell in a Cell matches because it's.
Do you think it could be Luke Harper with all this weirdness? What about that?
He's
a guy who you could rely on to defend the title and have.
Yeah.
And he's a heel, and he could put Cena out.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like either the Wyatt family has to have all of the titles or none of the titles. I don't feel like one of them can be successful. I feel like they either all have to have it. Like Bray has the WWE Championship. You've got Braun and returning Rowan, with the tag titles, and then Harper with the U.S. or Intercontinental.
What they have done is work their numbers right up to a nice Survivor Series team where it's going to be a total Wyatt's team.
Yep. That's what we're looking at. But yeah, let's talk about the one of the Hell in a Cell matches featuring Bray Wyatt going up against Roman Reigns. So this particular storyline's had quite a bit of focus. It's been one of the longer feuds that's going on that I'm actually not, bored to death of.
It's been since June or something weird.
Since Money in the Bank, when this thing got kicked off, and I'm ready for it to end, but I'm not Seth Rollins ready to get rid of it. Like I could see it continuing because they've constantly added more to it.
Like Kane has go away heat with me.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like this will be the time for Roman Reigns to finally get the win. Or maybe Bray Wyatt, because the whole angle has been, you're nothing without your cronies. You can't beat me one-on-one. So now this time there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and it's just you and me. So maybe this will be the time that Wyatt finally gets his win to prove to Roman Reigns, hey, I'm everything that I say and more. I am the face of fear. I don't know.
Face of evil.
New face of evil and fear.
Final answer?
Bray Wyatt. I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt to win. How about you, Tyler?
What was their last match on the pay-per-view? Like the last pay-per-view, what did they do? What was the match?
The Night of Champions, whenever Chris Jericho teamed up with them.
Yeah. When was the last one-on-one?
You know what I was thinking the other day? Is like, we haven't watched the pay-per-view together in a while. I was like, we were at the last
Yeah, we were at the last one. And that would be why.
Has it been a while?
Why we sat down and watched the pay-per-view together recently? I was like, we were there.
It's been a while. Bug Kelsey about that. So Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. Who you going to take?
Roman?
Any particular reason?
Has he been losing a lot?
Roman? I mean, they've had their wins and losses.
Back and forth.
Yeah. That's why I say I'm not like sick to death of this feud.
I don't know if they're gonna keep on going or not, but it's like
because originally it was just Roman. It was originally just Roman and Bray, and then Harper got reintroduced, and then then you got Ambrose, and they introduced Strowman.
Wyatt can keep on losing, and it doesn't affect him.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
So,
at this point, it doesn't matter.
Roman.
All right. Doug, how about you? What are your thoughts on this?
Man, it's got to be Roman. He can't beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania if he doesn't start winning here.
You think he's going to be fighting Brock at Mania?
Well, I think we're definitely not getting that. And I don't know why anyone actually believed it, but we're clearly not getting like an Austin like Lesnar thing.
Yeah.
The only other way I could see them going is Lesnar versus The Rock, which The Rock's involvement in Mania has been doubtful. Like, so what other match are you going to do? I think it plays into the story of Roman overcoming.
We've got unfinished business, and
it's sort of that like Gato, like Wrestle Kingdom, like Tanahashi Okada build minus a year, minus a guy cashing in the middle of their main event. Like he's finally overcoming the odds, except they don't. Okay, it's nothing like Okada Tanahashi. It's nothing like that at all.
Nothing whatsoever.
No.
All right. Well,
they just happen to be main event the big shows numerous years in a row.
Okay. So who are you picking to win? Roman?
Yeah, Roman's got to win.
All right. So 2 Romans and a Bray to be victorious at Hell in a Cell. So next matchup, there's 2 matches left for us to talk about. There's Undertaker and Brock Lesnar, or Seth Rollins versus Demon Kane. Who do you think we should go with first?
I mean, I think we just have to let Tyler pick.
Tyler, you want to pick?
We'll get the one that he doesn't like out of the way. We'll do Seth Rollins versus Kane.
Seth Rollins versus Demon Kane for the WWE Championship, not taking place inside Hell in a Cell, which is kind of interesting. But and I think they did like some stupid stipulation where if Demon Kane loses, then Corporate Kane is out of power or whatever. I don't care. I'm ready for this feud to be over with. I'm ready for Rollins to move on and do something better. And I think Rollins is going to retain here.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure that Kane's not going to win it.
I am beyond ready for this feud to be over with. Kane is
how you feel about this is how I felt about like some other stuff. Like I know this is worse, but like I felt like the same way with like Kevin Owens and Ryback.
Yeah.
But this is worse, the Kane and Seth Rollins stuff.
Yeah, well, where Kevin Owens and Ryback had a couple of altercations, a couple of run-ins, Kane has been just shoved down our throats for however many months now, and it's time for it to end. The light is at the end of the tunnel. You're going to have
Kane forever.
No, we're not, because the light is at the end of the tunnel. We are reaching the light, and it ends at Hell in a Cell this Sunday.
Nope.
And I'm so looking forward to it to be over. I pray that it's over.
So you pick Kane.
I'm picking Rollins to win, to retain his title, and move on away from this god-awful feud.
I pick Rollins.
Rollins as well? All right, that's what I like to hear.
I think y'all are crazy. I think Kane wins to save his job, save Corporate Kane's job, and then Sheamus cashes in.
Ooh.
I'll just mess with you. I can't even say it with a straight face.
I was like, God, don't give me that.
I can't even say it with a straight face. Rollins to retain.
You did
Rollins
say it with a straight
retain.
face.
He tried to.
Well, then apparently I said it with a straight face. I don't know.
Yeah. So,
I kind of feel like I want Sheamus to kind of get out of the way, too. Like, let him have his thing, let him do whatever, and then...
Let him cash in and lose. I'm fine with that.
I don't know. I feel weird about people losing when they cash in. I feel weird. I don't care if I don't like this guy.
It's a way of life.
I want him to have the title too.
It's a way of life. It happens. It's okay.
It's been established that it happens though.
It has.
We've had two.
Yep.
Right? Have we had
two? Then we had a
John Cena was the first. Damien Sandow was the second.
And a Money in the Bank taken away from someone.
That would be Mr. Kennedy to Edge. There you go.
See, I don't like that. I don't like the putting of the case up after you win it.
Yeah, that's a stupid idea for the person who has it. It's like, oh yeah, you're gonna goad me into putting my chance to be the champion on the line. Okay. I'm like, or I can hold on to this and you can just be out of luck.
Or you could just book whoever you wanted to have the case to win the match in the first place.
Yep, you could easily do that. So, so that brings us to the main event, the overhyped, probably unnecessarily hyped matchup. Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar inside Hell in a Cell. Chapter 3, the final chapter. They're never going to face each other again.
The end of the Go to Hell tour.
Yeah. I'm sad about that.
You guys are being a little harsh. I thought we all sort of slept on them before their last match. And look, finish without getting into the awful, terrible finish that did win the match. Yeah. They had a nice match going in that finish.
Yeah.
So I thought we definitely slept on them. So I definitely don't want to make the mistake of thinking these guys are not going to rise to the occasion.
No, they're going to do a fine job. It's just, does the crowd really have a whole lot of interest in this match? That's what kind of concerns me.
Well, I think they did a weird job of sort of
booking it.
Well, I'm talking about on Raw this week. They seemed like they were trying to like change the story almost on Raw to where it was Undertaker sort of reinserting himself into Lesnar's life and being bitter about the past and being a heel. And I know we were in Texas, and I know he's going to get that Legends pop, but they almost tried to make it like flip it to where like
I've got nothing left.
He's like trying to fight to like redeem his like legend status or something, and they almost try to flip it like he's the face now or something weird like on Raw. Maybe they're just trying to like temper like crowd reaction or something. But
when you take everything a man has away from him, you leave him with nothing left to lose.
I think it's a little bit more interesting than you guys are letting on to be, as far as I think they'll rise to the occasion, and I think it's interesting to see where these guys are going to end up, because it feels like Lesnar has to win here because it feels like he's the face. It feels like he's the guy who was wronged. It feels like the story should dictate that he's going to get his win back after Taker, sort of like the Taker shenanigans of the last match.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't, then, what do you do with Lesnar for WrestleMania? But also, we're operating under the assumption that Taker is going to have a Mania match either. So it feels like both of these guys have to win here to make their match at Mania seem like relevant or it seemed like necessary. So, but you also have Lesnar who's probably going to go away until the Rumble after this match. So do you have Taker put him out until the Rumble by beating him? Or because it's sort of more established that Taker's just going to go away anyway and come back at Mania. Like people accept that, but
So they're both going away.
Yeah, for sure.
Whoever wins, they
both
still
go
lose.
They're both going away, but Taker has that aura where he just goes and comes back for Mania, but Lesnar, they always write him out storyline-wise. So do you make him like savagely beaten by The Undertaker as a reason for being out to the Rumble? And what does that do for his ability to
They
sort
don't
of make...
always write him out. I feel like he just disappears. Too.
No, the last 2 times he's left, they've wrote him out for being too violent. Like he was mad that Rollins messed him over.
True.
Then he killed the camera. He just started suplexing everybody.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Hitting people in the head with car doors and stuff.
I thought there was a time period where he just disappeared, didn't say nothing. I mean,
They always write him out.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
But if Taker, if Lesnar is going to make Roman Reigns, it feels like he needs to win this. But if he wins, then why is he gone until then? Why isn't he just right back after Seth Rollins for his title? And also, if Taker is going to have any match at Mania, which we assume he is, it's Texas, it's Dallas, probably his last Mania. Maybe we say that every year. Maybe it might be his last Mania.
We said that at 30.
Sure.
We're like, we saw him lose. That's it. And he's done.
Nope.
We'll never see that man again.
Yeah.
We'll see him next WrestleMania.
So, and what value does Taker have after another loss if he does lose? So it feels like a weird booked into a corner.
Lesnar's going to take him out for good. He's going to be entered into the Hall of Fame at 32 in Dallas.
Sure, but I bet he doesn't match.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna say Lesnar, but I'm not very confident in that. It feels like a weird way to go either way. Maybe it's just such a brutal battle that both these guys are out until Mania season.
I think we're overlooking the obvious here. And the obvious thing is that this is WWE.
Kane and Big Show killed them both.
Yes, absolutely. You cannot have a clean finish to this matchup. There's no way it's going to happen.
The unholy alliance of Big Show and Kane.
Yeah. Mixed with Mark Henry. The biggest guys in the business.
Hey, lay off my boy Mark Henry.
No, well, that's what he does.
That's what he does.
I guess I'm taking Lesnar. I don't know. I can see it ending badly either way, though.
See, the way that I'm looking at it is that Taker had to resort to low blows.
Sure.
And, waiting for
What
the
a
referee
heel.
to be distracted. Yeah, he was definitely the heel.
Sure.
But
But do you not agree that they try to switch on the Raw? Do you think it was just a tempering the audience type of thing?
I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. I wasn't that far invested in it, I guess, to really pay attention. I was mostly just listening to what they were saying back and forth. I don't know. I think Lesnar's got to win on this one because he broke the streak. He should have had he technically should have had that victory at SummerSlam because he made the Undertaker tap out, and this could be like Undertaker's last gasp, to which he falls to the Beast. Oh, I don't know. Tyler,
You're making me want to change to Undertaker now.
Oh, really?
I don't know why.
Hey, man, you do what you got to do.
I'm sticking with Lesnar.
Lesnar?
The story they've told up until this point, Lesnar should win the match.
All right.
Yeah, I don't have a reason, but I'm just gonna pick Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar to win as well. All right, so there you go.
Yep.
That's gonna do it for Hell in a Cell. And I gotta say, guys, those were some great picks. Those were some great picks. Those were some great picks. So there you go. Make sure to leave your predictions for Hell in a Cell in the comment sections wherever you might be listening to us. And time to go into some hot topics because we normally save the hot topics for our radio show, but thankfully we had enough prediction time to fill for the radio show, so we moved the hot topics over to for the podcast this week. So really cool. So first topic of the day, of the night, of the evening, of the week. Randy Orton being pulled from WWE live events due to a shoulder injury, which was addressed on Raw, could possibly require surgery. So if that's the case, he might be out for a few months. So, not good. Yeah, not looking good. I mean, how many shoulder injuries has he had over his career? It's been quite a number. Like the collarbone, shoulder area, he's had a number of injuries. I don't know how many years he's got left in his contract, but he might want to start thinking about, calling it a career. He's had a very good career. So what more can he really do, Another bit of Hot Topic news. I know you guys are excited about this. WWN Live issued a statement on their relationship with WWE. What are your guys' thoughts on all that?
It's super interesting.
Cool and weird.
Cool and weird is a good way to describe it. I could see a lot of good things coming out of this, and there are some things I think that could be negative coming out of this. It's more of like we'll have to wait and see how it's addressed. Obviously, the affiliation is going to benefit Evolve and WWN Live in general, in the sense that they're going to get extra attention. They're probably going to get a little bit of help. It's a pipeline for their guys, and other independent talents are going to know that it may have been an unofficial pipeline before, but they've sort of officially named it the pipeline now. So it's like a destination for independent wrestlers. Like, oh, you're trying to get there. Well, this is your last stop before you get there, kind of a thing. I don't know if I don't know if it's a financial deal at all, if they're going to kick them any like money the way that WWF used to kick ECW like money back in the day. I don't know if it's going to be that type of a deal. One of the negative things that I think could be possible is that they may possibly like exhort their how should I say this? I guess they could like dictate, either advertently or inadvertently dictate like a style, or even if they didn't like impose a style on them, they may say this is what we're looking for, and then guys, instead of sort of like traveling around sort of developing their own style, they're sort of working WWE house style at an earlier time, so that these guys aren't necessarily as well rounded as the guys that came, like the guys who went through Evolve and Ring of Honor when Gabe was with Ring of Honor before going to WWE were well rounded because they did their own fucking thing and they fucking just got good at shit, and then they were signed. But if it's like a known pipeline, maybe they're working to what they think they want already, and they don't necessarily develop their own like style and their own skill set. I think that's a negative. We've already seen examples of WWE telling them who to put on their shows, because Matt Riddle, who worked the Evolve shows this past weekend, and I think the set of Evolve shows before that was with the same group of guys who got tryouts when like Gulak and Chuck Taylor and that group of guys who tried out, Matt Riddle was in those group of tryouts, and they've sort of suggested that he go to Evolve to sort of learn how to work, because he wasn't ready for NXT yet. So we've seen, and he's not that bad, but it's just the idea that they could be dictating who are on these shows.
Oh yeah, that would suck.
But like a positive is like they could, if it develops and grows and gets stronger, we may actually see guys from NXT who they're not using go down and actually maybe work Evolve shows. Who knows? It could like grow into that, but obviously no guarantee. But it could also, it's also a way of them saying like, we're not ready to officially have this guy go learn how to work here, and that may not be necessarily a guy that Gabe would or and Sal would look at on their own, but are only taking because of the relationship. So it could be positives and negatives. Who knows? It's definitely like you said, cool and weird. Like we don't.
Yeah, and also WWE.com, they have the article about that show. The top prospects or who to look for who may be NXT stars, and
well, that's definitely one of the checks in the positive column, like exposure for these guys at an earlier stage in their career. I mean, I don't know. We don't talk about Evolve on the show, but I mean, mostly because you guys don't watch it. But like, who's to say that article didn't like maybe turn someone somewhere else onto it, and maybe that's. I mean, it's definitely a good thing, but who knows? I don't know how to kind of reach that stuff actually. It's hard to say, but yeah, cool and weird.
Cool and weird. So there you go. Next hot topic to talk about, the WrestleMania travel packages went on sale and quickly and promptly sold out. So if you're looking to get a travel package, sorry about that. Might not be available to you. But apparently there was a pre-sale code that became available for WrestleMania tickets, and that is the Raw VIP pre-sale code. So there you go. Hook you up a little bit with your ticket. As mentioned on Raw many times, Brock Lesnar joined Stone Cold Steve Austin on the Stone Cold podcast.
He's going to face Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Not exactly.
On the pod, because that's what they said.
Yeah. He's going to be face-to-face with Stone Cold Steve Austin on the podcast. Talked about hunting, talked about cars, talked about music, talked about careers, and all that good stuff. Doug, what were your thoughts on the Stone Cold podcast?
Well, it was sort of like a tale of two different podcasts for me, because the first half was very like, I could not possibly care less about trucks or hunting or what charcoal you use or whatever the fuck you guys are.
You a gas grill or charcoal?
Yeah, like,
wanna go hunting?
I think that if it was a podcast that he did on his own, on Podcast One, on his own feed, his own network, he could ask him whatever the fuck that he wants. But I think there's an expectation that when you do these things on the WWE network, that you make him a little bit more wrestling centric. Now, I understand that Brock, by his own admission, doesn't have like a lot of passion for this, so it's not like you can get a lot out of him. And he hasn't had such a long career that there's a ton to talk about. I felt like they could have done a little bit of better job, at least in the beginning, sort of catering more to what this specific audience would expect out of that show. I thought the second half sort of fucking awesome. I think Brock Lesnar was the most honest person we've seen on any one of these, because he was just himself, and he was like, he unflinchingly told the truth about everything, and you could tell he was just sort of like, I don't give a fuck. This is just this is like what I do. Like, this is a job for me. Like, I clock in, I clock out. I know tons of people who go to work every day and clock in and clock out. He's like, I'm the same fucking thing. I didn't grow up watching this. I didn't grow up loving it. He was like brutally
I had 2 channels and I watched Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, and he was like, The Rock told me I need to be more selfish about this shit. He's like, I got, he was. When you see Vince, when you see Triple H, when you see Stephanie on these things, they have like an agenda they're pushing, and even if they're like really good at like pushing their agenda in a way that makes it feel honest, it's still an agenda they're pushing. But Brock was just sort of like his fucking self, and that was like, to me, respectable. It was a little boring in parts because I don't give so much of a fuck about the hunting and shit like that.
Yeah,
and while I think, and I don't care about like the Minnesota Viking shit, like I find the amateur wrestling interesting, and obviously the MMA interesting, but so much of the other shit just doesn't appeal to me. But like when he was just talking about like being himself, he was like the most honest guy we've ever seen on one of these, because he just doesn't care, and like he doesn't have anything to hide.
The most interesting part for me was whenever he was like, I don't like being in a room with a lot of people. I prefer my privacy, but whenever, I can easily go out into the ring and, do whatever it is that I do in front of thousands of people. And what I found most interesting was he said, I feel like there's this bubble over me that protects me in a sense. And that to me made, it made a lot of sense to me, because I'm the same way. You put me in a crowd or if I go to someone's house where they're having a party, I'm that guy who's just standing off in the corner, not talking to anybody if I don't know anyone. But if you come up and talk to me, I'll talk your head off. But then you come and you do a podcast where, or I do my radio show where I know that there's a large audience of people listening to me at that particular moment. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But if I'm in a room with a group of people, like, I was in the choir, I had no problem singing the songs. But if you say, all right, Daniel, we're going to have you do a solo, I'm like, no, you're not. I ain't doing that. So it's all about, your comfort zone. And yeah, sometimes you got to break your comfort zone.
But you did solos.
I did a couple of them. But it's just one of those, he knows where he's comfortable and he knows where he's not.
he was just. I mean, he was pretty much just like, yeah, I don't really need or want friends, and he's like, I don't have friends.
He was like, that's why I live out in the middle of nowhere, and I even have an 8-foot fence protecting that home, and I close the gate whenever I pull in. So
He's definitely a weird dude, though. You can tell he's a little weird guy, but I don't know. I found it refreshing, even though it was a little boring in parts and a little not what I wanted. The parts where it was what I wanted, it was like he's like the most honest person who's ever been on anything.
Yeah.
Which is like weird.
the first half was just two guys, you're sitting down at a barbecue and drinking a beer. Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about that? But then it was like, okay, let's talk about your actual career and where you came from and all that.
See, I think maybe they didn't have enough to fill a whole hour just on his career, but I felt like
Yeah.
you
Hey, you
gotta
wrestled.
kinda know your audience.
You came in the WWE in 2002. You were gone by 2004. You came back in 2012. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's one of those things where they have to be a little bit more aware of their audience.
I'm the one question I would have liked for Stone Cold to ask was, what were your thoughts? Well, no, he kind of did address it. They did address the streak, where he was like, let's be honest, who else could have done that? I would have liked for Austin to at least say, how did you feel knowing that you were going to get the win?
I feel like he addressed that in a roundabout way, though.
Yeah. I mean, like,
It was like it was definitely confidence, but not a cockiness. You could just tell he like not believed his own hype. You could just tell he was like confident in his ability to be like that guy.
yeah.
He's like, who else was gonna do it?
He was like, in all honesty, who else could do that? Who could be the guy? So it was just interesting.
The one thing that he pressed him on, the one time I felt like he wasn't forthright is when he sort of dodged the who went to like the legal route first. Like,
Yeah.
he was like, it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah,
he didn't want to get into
that doesn't matter.
That's the
for
one
another
time
day.
he felt like on guard and like dodgy.
Yeah.
The rest he was just sort of like whatever.
Mm-hmm. And they're gonna go hunting one day.
Go hunting.
So pretty cool stuff. So with that being said,
That's
time to-
not the rest of the topics.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to the topic that you want to talk about. Great Khali is teaming up with TNA because they're having some events in India. 3 different events also. They're scouting and stuff. So the Great Khali is partnering with them.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I know
there you
how
go.
excited you are.
Yeah.
And I'm not done with other topics too. Just because of WWE 2K.
Why are you pointing at me?
Because I can. Come here. Get over here.
Look at this, Doug.
He's like, for those who aren't in the room, which is nobody but us, he's like, he's almost like he's trolling. He's like gleefully saying he has these other topics. He's
Yeah.
like wagging his finger and he has a big smile.
Yeah.
So I don't know what.
It's
what's
not
going-
big topics.
I don't know
I
what's
just wanted
coming,
to-
but I'm ready to hear it.
I know.
Pulled your finger. No, nothing really, I guess, too exciting. There's,
Nothing too exciting.
well, for me it is.
You've been hyping this
for
for
me
like
it is.
months.
I told these guys about this today. I don't know if people are aware with the new reversal system
Mm-hmm.
that you have a certain amount of reversals, and it won't be like a reversal fest like the last few games and stuff. So you have to time out your reversals, just right. You could build them up, but you just won't have reversal after reversal after reversal, which was frustrating for us. Last year.
Quite frustrating.
Yeah, so
I might actually have a chance now.
yeah.
Yay.
You have to time them out, and then there's minor and major reversals,
Mm.
and they said some major reversals can like damage another person. So
And another bit of exciting news in the world of WWE 2K16, while not officially confirmed by Tyler, don't call me a bear, the return of John Dynamite.
I don't know, maybe. It's probably time for me to move on and create
No.
someone new.
No,
Yes, create someone new.
it's the man of legend.
Leave the memories alone.
Leave the man
Oh, another thing they said-
alone. So you're saying no to John Dynamite?
I don't know. I just wanted to like cheese it up in reference to John Dynamite.
They also said that whenever you're creating a character and you pick out their name, the announcer who says the name can say it differently depending on the order
Oh, good.
of the name, like the tone and how he
About
says it.
time.
Yeah, so you can.
Do you
change
mean
it up.
like John Dynamite or
Yeah,
John
it's like-
Dynamite?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
different emphasis on different.
John
No,
Dynamite
it
and
depends on
John
the order,
Dynamite.
depending on the order of it. Like
Oh.
so, like John Dynamite, or it's like Dynamite John, or something like if it's opposite or in different order. That's what I think. That's how I.
D's nuts.
That's these.
I like
So there you go. So the return of John Dynamite, possible,
possible.
probable.
I'm gonna play the shit out of that
Confirmed?
game this Tuesday. I don't know. We'll see.
Hoping for a confirmation. All right. With that being said, it's time to go into the Q&A portion of the show. Your questions, our answers. Only bit is coming from Micah, and I know he left quite a bit for us, so we're gonna read it all because there was a lot of comments and then questions. So here we go. So Micah says, first, love the Little Dicky line you said at the beginning regarding the skull, trying to keep things PG.
I don't remember.
I knew your freaky little ass wanted some head.
Oh yeah.
Second, I greatly enjoy and appreciate the podcast you guys roll out weekly. I listen to it during my hours of work, so imagine a man giggling to himself at a desk in regards to wrestling news. That man is me. All three of your opinions are sublime, and I enjoy the heck out of your jokes. Third, to fix Raw, I would say brand split and keep the brand split to the particular wrestler or superstar. Keep the one belt and allow any wrestler or superstar to obtain it. Once the split happens, allow Rollins to be pushed properly around the way that he was pushed as the Money in the Bank holder last year, where he would win, but occasionally lose and get some feuds. Now, my regards with the brand split, make the IC title the main thing on SmackDown, have the wrestlers and superstars vie for it. The previous IC title holder, once done, will then battle it out with the WWE champ because they've held their brand and elevated themselves to a bit. Give SmackDown its own feuds and not have Raw replays to bog it down. Also, promote SmackDown on Raw with the matches that only happen there. I could maybe expand on it if I had the time, but any sort of problems you see in my idea, I take any sort of criticism into consideration and put it towards development. Now, as far as the Q&A, do you guys want to address that first, or just go ahead and get into the Q&A?
I was like, you probably wouldn't address the first part.
Okay.
Say it again, or you guys talk about it, and I'll pick up on it.
Brand split with Intercontinental title being primarily on SmackDown or exclusively on SmackDown.
I know they don't use a lot of people, but like I remember going on WWE.com and there was a lot less people on the roster than I thought there was.
Yeah, the roster has taken a hit, but that shouldn't stop them from being able to get everyone some sort of focus.
In which everyone does have,
Yeah.
does not have focus.
I think with the addition of SmackDown moving to the USA Network next year, and the possible rumor that it's going to be live, that could sort of be a refresher that they could do. They'd be like, okay, let's refocus on this. Let's get something going. Because I remember for a while there, SmackDown was the place to be. That was the show to watch, as opposed to Raw, and then. And then Raw took back that spot, and SmackDown flew to the wayside. And heck, even Raw has become a Raw recap show with repetitious matches.
Raw is a
and
SmackDown recap show.
Yeah, hey, here's what happened last week on Raw, which was what happened last week on SmackDown. So, yeah, I don't know. Doug, what are your thoughts?
I mean, only way a brand split works is if you stick to the split. Like, I don't think that they could overcome like the wanting to like mix it up every now and again, and that just leads to further mixing it up. And it works in theory, but I don't know. It's a complicated. I don't know.
Yeah. And for the first couple of years, I really enjoyed the brand split whenever they did the draft.
Yeah, it was
because
cool.
It was like, oh man, I wonder what's going to happen. And then it got a little too hokey, where it's like, okay, they're moving this person, so obviously this person's going to have to go, and if this person's going to have to go, that's going to split this up, and
Sometimes if I want to relive memories, I bring out my PS2 and one of those old games, and I do the brand splits with Ric Flair and Vince McMahon, see which one's going to Raw and which one's going to SmackDown.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Good stuff. Now, in regards to the Q&A, if you could take a singles wrestler, a tag team, and a female wrestler and place them in WWE, we all know they'll land in NXT, who would you choose and why? This stretches internationally. So personally for me, this is tough because I want to say Adam Cole, but I'm going to go with Ricochet as himself, not as Prince Puma, being the best high flyer as well as one of the all-time greatest wrestlers on the planet. I think he'd do great. His ability in the ring would blow people away. And as far as tag team, I'd go with Red Dragon, no questions asked. Those guys are outstanding wrestlers, and their hipster MMA wrestler gimmick is amazing. As far as female wrestler, Candice LeRae. Watch any match that she's on in PWG. Her spunk and technical know-how is superb, as well as any woman who can go one-on-one with men in the ring is an all-star in my book.
Do you guys, before we get into that, you guys want some breaking news?
Breaking news.
Oh, here we go.
Tyler Breeze debuts on SmackDown with Summer Rae on the whole Miz TV Dolph Ziggler thing.
Ah,
So, Breeze on SmackDown this week.
there you go.
Breaking. I just saw it online as we're talking.
Is it my eyes when you look at me?
It is.
Okay. Something. It'll set you free.
It's going to lead to Tyler Breeze versus Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was during the Miz TV segment with Ziggler.
Hmm.
They've had the tension between Ziggler and Summer, and he's Summer. So I think that's where we're headed. I mean, obviously, I'm just like reading internet shit and not seeing it yet. But so he wants us to name
a singles competitor, a tag team, and a female wrestler who you would like to see be put into the WWE. You can be from anywhere in the world.
Okay, I'm tempted to say AJ Styles just because since his sort of getting the TNA stink on him, off of him, me.
Stanky.
He's been one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's really had like a career resurgence. But my actual pick and who I'm actually going to go with is Chris Hero. And I think it's
I was actually thinking the same thing.
I think he is an absolute fucking travesty that he was let go from NXT a few years ago. He can do it pretty much all.
Do you think we might see him again now that Evolve is sort of working with WWE?
I don't know. I mean, he does work with Evolve. I don't know. He also splits time going to Noah. I don't know why he ever got released in the first place. The rumors at that time sort of tended to lean towards like
he was unwilling to cooperate and lose weight.
Working out.
It was like a body image thing, which he was never like the most fit guy, but he got himself in like really great. He was never like a fat dude or anything, but he was never like a body guy, and he got himself in like really great shape before he went there, and then he sort of got a little soft, and I guess that was a part of the problem, which to me is like I see him now and I think he looks fantastic. Like obviously he's a little soft in the midsection, but I think it adds to the appeal. Like let's talk about something that people don't talk about a lot. Like one of the reasons that Kevin Owens is so over, one of the reasons that Kevin Owens is so identifiable, one of the reasons Kevin Owens like resonates with so many fucking people is because of his look. And people don't talk about his look, his unique look being a part of the package. That people never talk about that, or not a lot of people. But the reason he's like so over is in part because of his unique look. Why is it that every husky neckbeard on the fucking internet identifies with Kevin Owens? Because he fucking looks like every one of them. And I say that like not talking shit. I'm a husky neckbeard just like the rest of you fucks. I'm just saying, why do you think those guys identify with Kevin Owens so much? Because he fucking looks just like them. He doesn't look like everybody else on the roster. He has his own look going on. He looks like some weirdo husky dude who's got a chip on his shoulder for being the weirdo husky dude his whole life, with a shitty looking fucking beard, a wife that's out of his league, let's all be honest, and he just looks like a skeezy dude who'll beat the fuck out of you because he's got the chip on his shoulder from being that dude his whole life, you know? Like that contributes to his aura that he has this like non-traditional look, right? No one ever talks about that, but that's true. He doesn't look like everybody else. That's why he stands out in part. same thing with Chris Hero. He doesn't need fucking abs to be Chris Hero. He's he's one of the best. I can't name 10 other people on the face of this fucking planet right now that is probably a better wrestler than Chris Hero. I just can't. I think he's that fucking good. He does it all. He's got awesome fucking strikes. He does that crazy World of Sport shit where he's going to twist everybody into a fucking knot. And this whole like little run he's having where he's like that salty old bitter old dude on the indies who's just beating the fuck out of everyone until like they eke out a win at the end. Like his match you're talking about watching PWG, like his fucking most recent match with oh god, why am I blanking on his name? Give me a minute, it'll come to me. God damn, karate dude, no shoes. God damn, Canadian dude, just signed to work with AAA a bunch. God damn.
I don't know.
Fucking, what's his name? I guess it's not super important, but like I was just gonna like call out that match.
Use it as a reference to watch.
Yeah. It was a really great match.
I felt like it was crazy when like Cesaro made it and then Chris didn't, you know.
Well, they made it. They got signed together, and then he just got let go while Cesaro was still there. Oh, why can't I think of his fucking name? It's so stupid. It makes me so angry. Oh God. It's
all right, man. Don't beat yourself up.
He's like the karate guy. Come on.
I don't know.
Speedball Mike Bailey. Thank fucking God he came. The match that he had with Speedball Mike Bailey in fucking PWG, where he was just like salty old prick of a vet who was like slapping the shit out of him and twist him into a pretzel until like Speedball eked out a fucking win at the end. He's been doing that like all over the fucking place. He's fantastic. And like, who cares if he has a gut? He does that. Like, it doesn't stop him from doing like cool shit. He does that crazy like World of Sport like Johnny Saint shit where the guy's got him in a side headlock and he does that like gyrating fucking nip up until he just like gyrates himself out of the fucking side headlock. He has a belly, like he can fucking do cool
they let
shit.
Bull Dempsey in there.
Yeah, I mean, who cares what he looks like? I mean, I guess it's a cosmetic business to a certain extent, but like different looking dudes like help it make it cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess not in short, but like I guess my singles guy is definitely Chris Hero. I just think it's a crime that he's not like.
Oh yeah, man, for sure.
I don't know. He's amazing. I don't know.
How about tag team?
I do like Red Dragon, like you were saying. I do think they're tearing it up, but I would. And this is like I have a complicated appreciation for the Briscoes because of their like personal views. But like if I'm just gonna call it on like talent, like as is, I would like they're not old now, but before they get any older, I would like to see them get like a good run in with the Fed. I think they're a good team. I think they're unique looking dudes. Nobody does like gimmick wise what they do. I mean, they do that crazy redneck shit, but not like the Wyatts. They don't do it in the same way that the Wyatts do the crazy redneck shit. I would like to see the Briscoes get a tag run. I think that'd be cool.
And women's wrestler?
To be honest with you, I would like to see Charlotte Del Rey in a ring and not behind the scenes. That would be my pick. I would say, yeah. I mean, they have Sarah Stocknell to train, so I think Del Rey is a bigger asset in the ring. I mean, I can't. That sounds like bullshit because how do I know she's a bigger asset in the ring than as a trainer? Right. So I'm just talking out of my ass. But I don't know. I think she's a.
She could do a lot of good in the ring.
Sure.
As well as out.
Sure.
All right. How about you, Tyler?
He picked my
Chris Hero.
Singles, yeah.
All right. Tag.
Wolves,
nice.
and women's.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had a longer thing with Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I would do Adam Cole because he's an extremely talented dude, and for his age, he's got it. You know, he's got it down. He's an outstanding talent. I don't know who I would do for tag team or women's just because I don't follow enough product outside of the WWE, so I'll admit to that. I think the Wolves would be a great addition. But as far as women's, I'm not too sure.
So there's like in my head, there's like so many singles because I want Bobby Roode to come in.
Yeah.
I want Austin Aries.
Mm-hmm. So put Austin Aries and Bobby Roode as a tag team.
Dirty Heels.
Dirty Heels. There you go. That'll be mine.
I mean, look. I mean, James Storm's there. Did you
Yeah.
really think we were? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it seems like weird that he's there. I didn't think that he would be a guy they would be interested
Yeah.
in.
Very strange.
He's just gonna be like a utility player. He's just gonna be like a role playing guy. He's not gonna be like a star or anything. At least I don't think he will be. I could be wrong about that, but it's just weird that he's even there. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well, that's going to do it for us. We certainly appreciate everyone tuning in this week. Make sure to submit your questions on our Facebook page, WNS Podcast, our YouTube channel, WNS Video. Check us out on WrestlingNewsSource.com, WrestlingNewsSource.com on Facebook, and subscribe to our show on iTunes by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast.
Check me out. We're on Stitcher, Beyond Pod, and Player.fm. Just search Wrestling News Source Podcast to find us.
On Twitter at WNS Podcast, at WNS_Daniel, at Tyler_Abear.
There you go. For the podcast crew, I am Daniel Herron.
Hey,
Be
prepared next week. WWE 2K16. That's where
Review?
it's
I don't
Review.
think it comes out until
Tuesday, which is when
it
we
comes out this coming up Tuesday.
Yeah.
I thought we had another week. Dude, my days are fucking gone. I don't know what fucking day it is.
So there you
I'm a bear.
I'm Doug.
go. And we will catch you all next week.
See ya.